Hey, you're back to the Cage Rage podcast with Chadillac, and we are talking wage rage, where you can make a lot of money so that you can buy your girlfriend a diamond ring, stick some cash in your pocket, do whatever you want to do, as long as you smash that subscribe button and let us know that we're doing the things right that you want us to do. And if we're not doing it right, tell us about it. If we're doing it right, tell somebody else about it. Let's get right to this because we got a lot going on. The UFC, February 2nd, Saturday. That's this weekend. Check your local times and listings for the time so you don't miss out on it. It's on ESPN+. Believe me, the app that has taken over the UFC, and people are going crazy for it. Everyone loves it. And believe you me, folks, if I can put it on my TV, phone, and laptop, so can you. It's super easy, and you're going to love it. It's unbelievably cheap and unbelievably easy to do. So get on it fast and furious. But before you do anything else, you check with the Cage Rage podcast, and you go to Wage Rage first, because we're going to tell you how to bet so you can make the most money you can make, so you can buy your girlfriend that diamond ring she wants, pay your car off, pay your house payment, or just stick a load of cash in your pocket. Right now, I think we're somewhere around 64, 65, and 3 or 4, something like that. In other words, we're kicking ass and taking names. And if you're betting the way we tell you to bet, at just $100 a bet, you'd be kicking over 20 grand right now just on what we've told you to bet. So here we go. I'm here with fight analyst extraordinaire. He's on the road, so he's blacked out. We're putting pictures in front of him right now. Devin Miller. Devin, take us into the first fight. Oliveira and Tamr for the first fight this weekend, the 2nd of February. What's going on with it?
Well, in this fight, you've got a real pick'em fight where the odds are pretty much even on here. Between a fight between Charles Oliveira and David Teymur. This is really kind of a style versus style fight. Oliveira has a submission record in the UFC with, I believe, 12 submission victories, several submission of the night awards. He's really only lost to top level contenders. Very solid fighter against a 5-0 Swedish kickboxer, 5-0 in the UFC, David Tamr, who this is kind of a step up for him in there, but he's been in there with a lot of solid, but we've been in there with a couple solid wrestlers. Very good kickboxing, pretty aggressive kickboxing actually. This is a risky bet either way, because if Oliveira can get this fight to the ground, it would be definitely in his favor, and he's definitely a finisher when he gets guys in bad positions.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to, though. I think he might get it there, but I think Tamr showed that he's able to survive. He's very aggressive, very solid on the feet. I think the safe bet is Tamr. Like I said, this could go either way. I think Tamr wins by decision.
Either way. So Taymur's probably your bet if you want to go with what Devin's saying. Either way, there's not a lot of money to be made on it. So probably skip it and move on to the next one, which is, go ahead, Devin, take me your next one. What do you want to do?
Well, the next one is the co-main event of the night between two Brazilians in Brazil, between the proclaimed King of Rio himself, Jose Aldo, longtime featherweight champion.
One of the best.
One of the goats of MMA, versus a newer contender in Renato Moicano. Very solid top 5 featherweight, 4 or 5-1 in the UFC. Only loss in the UFC has been to a 3rd round submission loss to Brian Ortega in a fight that he was winning. He's got wins over Cub Swanson. He's got wins over a win over Jeremy Stevens. He beat a young contender in Calvin Cater by decision a couple fights ago.
That's murderer's row right there. So
very formidable contender. I'm going to pick. I think that with Jose Aldo's comments about not wanting to fight past 2019, and after his very tough losses to Max Holloway, and not wanting to pursue UFC gold again, I believe that that's a little disheartening, and I think Moicano's very motivated to get a title fight. Yeah. So I'm going to pick Moicano by a decision. But I will say that if there is an underdog on this card right now, they got Aldo as a plus 120 underdog. That is a solid dog to pick on would be Aldo. A lot of people were thinking that Jeremy Stevens was going to drop him, and he came in and finished him in the first round.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that Jose Aldo's only 2 losses in about the past 11 years was Max Holloway and Conor McGregor. This guy beat, Frankie Edgar twice, Chad Mendez twice, Cub Swanson, Ricardo Lamas. Kenny Florian. He went through the gauntlet. He dominated for years. He's still in his early 30s, believe it or not. He's still very solid. I'm going to go with Moicano though here, and I think that he'll end up fighting Holloway later this year.
Yeah, you got another one here where there's not a lot of money to be made, but if you want to try and take that pick, wait on it, see if the odds drive up a little bit more. If Aldo gets driven up and he's somewhere around 200, then it might be smart to go ahead and jump on that and take the pick and take a risk on it. Go ahead and do the dog watch. If he doesn't drive up into that 200, which seems pretty unlikely, right? But if he drives up into that 200, jump. If not, go ahead and stay with Moicano. Would you agree with that, Devin?
I would definitely agree with that because I think Aldo is a very live dog in this fight.
For sure.
I was actually surprised to see that he was the underdog. Moicano would have been my dog pick had he been the underdog.
Right. Okay, so then our final fight of the night, we wrap it up with.
Well, in the main event, we got a rematch between Magic Marlon Moraes versus Rafael Assuncao. This is probably
a rematch.
This is a rematch. They fought back in June of 2017 in Moraes' UFC debut. It was a split decision, 3-round victory by Rafael Assuncao, who's 11-2 in the UFC, a very underrated fighter. Been a solid top 5 guy in the division for years. Hasn't really been pushed over the years because 8 of his 11 wins in the UFC have been by decision, but he's got wins over guys like Pedro Munoz. He's got a win over Moraes. He's got a win over Rob Font. He's actually got a win over current champion T.J. Dillashaw. Dillashaw later avenged that fight and won a decision against him. So if Assuncao wins, it sets up a trilogy fight with the current champion. If Moraes wins, who is 16-1 in his last 17 fights, the former World Series of Fighting bantamweight champion, has come into the UFC, lost his debut by a close split decision to Assuncao, who he's rematching. Since then, he's came back to wearing a split decision over John Dodson and got 2 brutal knockouts over Aljamain Sterling and Jimmy Rivera within a minute. 2 highlight reel brutal knockouts.
Hey Devin, why haven't we heard more of Assuncao yet? What's held him back? Why isn't he front and center right now with all of those victories?
I think the thing with Assuncao, because I really believe he's one of the more underrated guys in the sport, is just because of his decision wins. He's not the most he's not a big personality, but he's a very great fighter. He's a top contender at bantamweight. He's got a win over Dillashaw. And he's got a win over Moraes, who he's fighting against.
Well, when you look at Moraes, you're looking at a guy who just is 5'6" of nothing but steak. The guy is muscle. He's an anatomy chart. He looks like a real freak of nature when it comes to an athletic person. What are you going to pick on this? Are you going underdog here? Are you gonna stay with the over under? What are you going to do on this one? That's a tough pick.
Well, this one's the odds are kind of surprising because they've actually got Marlon Moraes as a minus 165 favorite compared to the plus 145 underdog in Rafael Assuncao. That's surprising considering that less than 2 years ago, Assuncao won a split decision over him. But that's mainly due to the fact that Marlon Moraes is just coming off 2 brutal knockouts over top contenders. Marlon Moraes was a very hyped prospect coming into the UFC. Like I said, he was the World Series of Fighting champion. Very talented guy. Since this is a 5-round fight, he was coming on stronger in the 3rd round in the Assuncao fight. I think he's going to pull this out. I think it will be a decision win. I think this is either fighter can win. They're both high-level professionals, but I'm going to go with the favorite, and I'm going to pick Marlon Moraes to win a decision. But putting $100 on Assuncao as the underdog would not be – it's not unreasonable. Assuncao is a very high-level fighter, and he could grind out a decision win over Moraes. And I think this is a very good fight, and hardcore fans better pay attention to it because I believe a title contender is going to emerge from this fight.
So there you go, folks. Wrapping it up. Hey, listen, first of all, we love you. Thank you for all your support. We're growing every single day, and our audience grows and grows, and we thank you for all the support. We thank you for all the communication that you give us through the emails, through Twitter, through Instagram, through all the other things that we get. Smash that button. Hit the subscribe button below. Let us know what we're doing wrong. If we're doing it right, you can let us know that too, but more important, let other people know what we're doing right. Hey, if you want to win and you want to win big, bet with Wage Rage because that's the way we're doing it. Yeah. Unfortunately, tonight we don't have a lot to tell you to say, you know, if you bet on this guy, you're going to bet big. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to win a lot because like Devin said, watch Jose, and if Aldo goes up above 200, go ahead and throw your money on him. If he doesn't, don't. Watch the weigh-in, see how he looks, and if he looks right, then go ahead and throw it in. If not, you know, we got to get going. We're over on our time. Anything, Devin, before I sign off on this? Okay, I guess that's it for the night. Hey, listen, thanks for joining us. We appreciate everybody. Until next time, namaste.
These people make me sick. Remember, there's a costume party later at my place.
Ready for the big game tonight, Coach? Always ready for football!